Hello everyone and welcome to another video review. This is actually part 2 of a two-part series on the CaseLabs SMA8 case. If you want to watch part 1, which is the assembly of this case, please click above. Okay, so let's have a closer look at this case. First of all, it is humongous. This is a full tower case in every respect. It measures in at 654 millimeters in height. The depth is 675 millimeters and the width is 286. And it weighs in at 12.25 kilograms. And that's very lightweight considering its size, but that's because it's all aluminum. If this was an all steel case, it would be so heavy. Now, I absolutely love the look of this case. It is super elegant. The build quality is out of this world. Perfect lines and everything snaps together so well. Also, the paint job is just exceptional. Here's a closer look so you can see the fantastic build quality as well. The paint job is rough and very well done, so it isn't going to attract fingerprints and it's certainly going to last a very long time. At the top there's lots of ventilation, and actually this panel can be very easily removed. You just kind of twist here at the front. It comes right up, pop it off at the back. This reveals a place to install up to 4 120 millimeter fans, or optionally you could install up to a 480 millimeter radiator. Plus they've got a couple of holes here which are covered right now for water cooling tubes. And by the way, they do include a couple of rubber grommets to protect the tubes. To put it back, just line it up at the front and the back and push down. At the front there's ventilation. Note their logo at the bottom right. Now there's a lot of flexibility here when it comes to installing drives. You can install up to 13 5 1/4 inch drives. Plus, optionally, you can install one 3.5 inch drive. Now they do include this plate, which you can swap with this one. So if you want to have I/O here on the front, like for example, you could buy an aftermarket 3.5 inch I/O device to give you, the USB ports and more. Use this and then it would be there. Very, very convenient. By the way, this is the power button, which has the power LED around it, and the reset button. And they include these flex drive 5 1/4 inch mounts. These are just rails really, and they go on either side if you're installing 5 1/4 inch drives. To remove the front panel, just pull at the bottom and it comes right off. Note all of the drive bay covers, and these are held into place with 2 thumb screws, one on either side. Now there's no cheap plastic parts on this case. Rather, everything is aluminum or steel. If for example you look at these clips, they are steel. This is steel. It goes together very well. It stays into place, but still it is easy to remove and install. And at the bottom is a lower side panel. Note all of the ventilation. This also comes off very easily, but it's not hinged. Rather, is held in place with clips. The top right side panel is plain, but it is also hinged. Just swing it all the way back and you can take it off. It also has the same bottom panel, which is ventilated, and again this is held into place with clips. At the back you can install a 120 millimeter fan, or alternatively of course a 120 millimeter radiator or a 120 millimeter ALC or advanced liquid cooler. Here is where the motherboard's I/O shield plate gets installed, and there's 8 expansion slots, extra ventilation, and you can install up to 2 ATX power supplies. Now they do include a power supply cover, so if you don't want to install 2 power supplies, you can cover one of the holes. Now just have a look at all of the space in this upper chamber. It's unbelievable. Plus the motherboard tray is removable, and I'll show you that in just a minute. It fits micro ATX, standard ATX, extended ATX, and SSI CEB motherboards. And by the way, the motherboard tray dimension is 12 by 10.75 inches or 305 millimeters by 273 millimeters. Now as for video card length and power supply length and cooler height and space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel. Well, there's lots of space. You don't have to worry about it. I'll go through it anyway. You've got like 60 centimeters here of space for video cards. You think that's going to be enough? Also, power supply length at the bottom, the same. Cooler height is around 19 plus centimeters, and the space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel is around 5 centimeters or a little bit more than that. There's all kinds of rubber grommeted holes to route cables behind the motherboard tray and into the lower chamber. Plus they have this hole here covered, but you can open it up. Just punch this out if you need to route more cables and door tubes through it. At the bottom of the upper chamber, there's provision for installing up to 3 120mm fans or up to a 360mm radiator. To remove the motherboard tray, just loosen the 4 spring-loaded thumb screws, grab hold of the handle, and slide it out. And by the way, they do have plastic rails on this. It just makes it that much easier to remove and install. Now, unfortunately, today you don't see a lot of cases with removable motherboard trays, even the full tower cases, and that's a shame because these removable motherboard trays really makes the job so much easier. And it does so because you can leave the main large case wherever it is, on top of your desk, under your desk, and then just take the tray out, install what you need, upgrade what you need, and then put it back. And this motherboard tray comes with a large hole for the cooler's retention plate, but note that they have a plate in the back covering it. You can easily remove that though. Oh, and I should mention as well that the expansion slots are held into place with thumb screws. Now have a look in the lower chamber. Lots of space down here as well. Remember, you can install up to 2 standard ATX power supplies at the back. And keep in mind that you can get different panels and customize this case entirely the way that you want. At the bottom, there are 4 very soft, medium height feet. So who would be interested in a case like this? Well, it wouldn't be your average computer user. It would be the hardcore user, an enthusiast, and one with a very thick wallet. This is $500. Now remember, the fit and finish on this is just exceptional. It is all aluminum and customizable. This is in fact probably the very best case that I have ever reviewed. And that's saying something. I've reviewed literally hundreds of cases. I am so impressed with this, it's unbelievable. Now remember, you will have to put it together. That's a bit of a chore, but once you do it, you have more appreciation for the case. Now, while this case is fairly expensive, CaseLabs have other products that are very, very reasonably priced considering what you are getting. Now, let's go back to customization. On their website, you can do all kinds of customization for this particular product, like for example, changing the case color, and you can have different panels, different size windows, and all kinds of other things. This case is without a doubt a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care.